Hey, what's up, body bags? Wanted to review a movie that I've never heard of prior to getting this, and I've never heard anybody talk about it. And my buddy BDG Reviews actually sent me this movie for my birthday like 2 months ago, and he said it was like a hidden gem. And it took me a little while to see it because it was in my to watch pile, and I usually do stuff in order how I get it. So it's like if I order a big chunk of movies and then like a week later or another big chunk of movies, I gotta watch the first chunk of movies before I move on to the second. It's just the way I am. I know it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but I can't go out of order. I gotta watch them as how I get them. So it took me a minute to get to this, but it was actually a pretty entertaining film. This was made in the UK, and this is from Amazon UK because I don't think it has a release in America, but I think you can get it on Amazon UK relatively cheap. I don't remember how much he said he got it for, but I don't think it was a whole lot. But it's a movie called When the Lights Went Out, and this came out in, I want to say 2012. I'm not 100% positive. This says 2010, so it was a little bit longer, but it's essentially kind of like The Conjuring 2, but more realistic. Based on a true story of a haunting in England in the 70s, but it's not the Conjuring 2 story, but it's so similar that you would think that. The Conjuring 2 says that's the most violent haunting in England history, where this movie says this is the most violent haunting in England history. Because basically this family moves into this house. It's a daughter, a dad, and a mother, and the house is haunted, and it's essentially that. But it's not as big budget as The Conjuring, so you could tell it's a lot more low budget. It has like a direct-to-video feel to it, but it kind of adds to it. And I don't know if this is like the way English direct-to-video movies feel, but it's a vibe to it that I can't really describe. You got to see it, and I'm sure you'll see what I'm talking about. It's like almost like the sets and everything almost feel really soap opera like, but it's pretty cool. The lighting is like really good in this movie. The haunting is a lot more realistic. Like if a house was haunted, I feel like it would be portrayed more like how this movie is, as opposed to The Conjuring. I thought all the performances overall were pretty decent. The dad in particular, I like the performance of him. The main girl, I wasn't the biggest fan of her acting, but she got the point across. She seemed like she was in terror or whatever. There were some pretty cool scenes in this. Yeah, there was a little more CGI than I would normally like, but I'm really picky with CGI. I know a lot of people don't mind it or whatever, but I'm really, really picky when it comes to CGI. And towards the climax, there's a little bit of CGI, so it knocked it down a few notches, but I think it was effectively freaky. It was pretty chilling. There was some good scenes with like this grandfather's clock tumbling down the stairs. And one thing too, I got to point out that it's not like The Conjuring where it takes like a half hour to start getting into the scares or whatever. This thing goes from 0 to 100 within the first 5 minutes. I mean, it shows them moving in, and then literally that night, there's just crazy shit happening. And what sets this apart too is the parents or the dad and everything believe are like off rip. I mean, there's one night where they're kind of like, oh, you're tripping, but then the next night, it's like shit starts happening to them, and they realize the daughter's not lying. And this ghost doesn't just pick on the daughter; like it picks on everybody in this house, and I thought that was a cool little change from most horror movies. You do kind of see what the ghost looks like throughout the movie. I don't want to give it away. And then at the very climax, it's something different, which is freakier than what you're seeing throughout the movie. So that's kind of cool. It was pretty good. I mean, if you could get this pretty cheap on that Amazon UK or wherever you find it, I definitely recommend checking it out. This was put out by a company called Revolver. I don't know anything about Revolver. It must be just a UK company. But what's weird too is it came with a slipcover, but it's like it's bizarre because the top there kind of sticks out of it, so it's kind of like an awkward slipcover, but it's still cool. I know James on the Body Bags channel is from England or around that area, so I'm curious, James, if you're watching this, if you've heard of this movie, if this is popular over there. I don't know. Like I said, I've heard literally nothing about it. But yeah, I definitely recommend checking it out if you can find it cheap. But yeah, it's 83 minutes, so it goes by pretty quick. It's a really short movie, actually. And it actually has some special features. It has some behind the scenes, deleted scenes, a short doco at the house. I don't know what that means. I didn't watch that feature. Two-man premiere. I don't know what that means either. So I didn't watch that feature yet. Probably next time I watch this down the road, I'll check out the features. And Lisa Manning interview, which was an actress in it. But yeah, not much more I could say about it. I mean, I just wanted to review it on this channel because it's kind of little known. Like I said, I've never heard anything. So, I mean, definitely if you're into haunted house films or, you know, hauntings in general, it's definitely worth a watch, especially if you like The Conjuring 2 in particular. But anyways, guys, peace.